okay. Well, number one, probably isn't the creatine, but I didn't tell her that because I don't know, maybe it is the creatine. But I also said maybe to have less of the creatine, right?
Yeah.
You said to
And
because I remember you told me that, right?
yes, and you do. And shall we, so we're recording, shall we just start? We'll just
Yeah.
start, shall we? Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Jess, how are you?
Oh, we're in.
We're
I
in.
am always good when I get a chance to chat with you. And I'm also really happy that I'm drinking. Normally, you make fun of me because I drink something in a very large mug. And when
Yes.
we record our podcast, because we're talking a lot, I feel like a singer. I like drink, usually like some form of hot tea.
Yeah,
And
nice.
that always makes me think about my nighttime rituals, which I tend to drink quite a bit of herbal tea throughout the day because it's just a nice way of staying hydrated, especially people ask, well, do you drink hot tea in the spring and the summer? And I actually still do. I still drink hot tea no matter what the temperature is outside.
Oh, same here.
I like it. It feels good. And then the other thing, just in our quest for more protein, because friends, in Mikki and Jess's world, it's just not possible to quite get enough. And so, two things, two and a half, we'll talk about this. Some just kind of easy, sneaky ways that I have been recording my protein just to try to look at it as a way to
Right.
just identify what I'm actually doing is we call it an afternoon tea in our little category, but really it's more of like a, PM sort of coffee. So I'll take a little bit of cold coffee, mix it with a little Fairlife, right? Which
Yeah.
has some protein in it, a little collagen peptide, some ice. And I
Mhm.
mix that up and it's nice. It's not overly caffeinated. It gives me a little bit of a hit, a little energized, and then I get a little bit of protein. And then
Yeah.
sometimes that's what I do in the afternoon. And then sometimes throughout the day, morning or afternoon, I've found myself really enjoying this drink called clear protein water. And this has been something really fun that everybody gets very excited about when you say the word protein and water.
Isn't that the truth? Clear.
Right? So they're
Yeah.
like, tell me more. So this one I really like. It's protein water. I think you gave me the thumbs up on this flavor is prickly pear. It has 20 grams of grass-fed protein, lactose free, no
But it's
artificial shit.
whey. It's whey
What?
protein, right?
Yeah. So the ingredients, I'm just going to read it to you real quick because you should know. It has filtered water, grass-fed whey protein, isolate, natural
Yes.
flavor, citric acid,
Yeah.
malic acid, stevia,
Yeah.
Reb M. I don't know what that is.
That's the scientific name for stevia.
Okay, perfect. Thank
Yeah.
you. Mushroom extract. That's to
Yeah.
protect quality. 20 grams of
Amazing.
protein.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking at. 90
Yeah.
calories, but I usually don't drink the whole can. I'll have like maybe half a can or something like that.
So I think there's a use case for protein, like protein water. If you can't eat before you train, but you need something and you're coming out of an overnight fast and you want to, have some amino acids on board. I think there's a use case for people who don't have the appetite for protein, older people. Particularly like if I think about like my parents or whatever, like they aren't able to have as much protein as what I would suggest they do. So something like that could be quite good. And to your point, just to sort of add some protein to the overall like load. Like, so if you are on the run and you can only grab a couple of egg white wraps, for example, if you were to have like half or even a can of the clear simple protein, it's got that leucine, so it's helpful for stimulating muscle protein synthesis, and we love that. And the other thing I'll say is that you can get protein waters which are just collagen protein, and I don't think they're as good a quality. I think you're the one that you're talking about, the Clean Simple Eats version, and I know that there's also My Protein, which is available worldwide, I believe, that has a clear whey drink. Macromikes is one down here in like the southern hemisphere is another one. I'm sure they've got an actual whey protein, but I think it's good because sometimes you just don't want that milkiness or you don't want the lactose.
So the one that I have is quite good. You give that a total thumbs
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And then there was another one. What was the second one you just mentioned? Like, was that a brand that you
My
said?
protein, and that's, you've had that before, or a client of yours had that because you asked me about
Oh
that.
yeah, I did. That's right.
Yeah,
It's
and
just the
they
only
have
thing about that one was that we found it hard to mix. Got a little clumpy.
it was a powder, whereas yours is a can. So it's,
Yes.
yes, and maybe that's a difference.
So the powder, how do you get the powder to mix in with the water? Nothing. Johnny, can you just shake the freaking thing up?
Well, sure. I would think that the manufacturer, that's a question for them. So if they don't do it well, like, that's not great. I don't know
Poop.
what you can do. I know.
Well, it
Yeah.
does taste good, so I'll deal with the
Mm,
clumps. But I put that sometimes in my water, and it's a lemonade flavor, and there's nothing fake about it. It
nice.
literally tastes great. So
Yeah.
again, also easy way. So before you wake up in the morning, or sorry, not before you wake up, first thing when you wake up before you eat, you recommend then and then. But how I'm doing it, kind of filling in, like that's okay too.
So before you train, then that's a great
Mm-hmm.
time to have it as part of a snack, or alongside a meal. Like, I imagine you've just had dinner and now you're just
Exactly.
having it. Yeah, so that's
Correct.
great. That's great. Because I think what we don't want is to just litter amino acids throughout the day with no real, um like, you're not, with no not attached to a meal, because you sort of, you just, they're not as useful as they are when they're sort of in with a meal, actually, or alongside other food. Like, it's like sort of sipping
Hmm.
sugar all day. Like, you're just constantly
No, that's
having this
good.
hormone response that you don't necessarily want. It's not sugar, it's different hormones that are responding to it. But I think, I look at it, I wouldn't recommend anyone just sip it across a day.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if you're going to have protein water, have it before you train.
Hmm.
What if you train in the afternoon or evening? Is that okay too?
Oh yeah, I think so. Like
Okay.
particularly if you're like, maybe it's mid-afternoon, yeah, and you're not quite hungry, you don't really need anything for a snack, but maybe you want some aminos on board. Like, no problem, I think.
Okay. So it basically it needs to kind of be purposeful. So have it before you work out or have it alongside a meal or a
I
snack.
think, yeah, or just
Hmm.
after, the way that you are, like,
Yep.
because you're sort of in that same time
Yes. That's
period
exactly what I
of
did. Yeah.
yeah, amazing. Yeah,
I
yeah,
had
that's
it
how I would do
during,
it.
and
Yeah.
it's just it kind of has a nice feel. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's answered some of your guys' questions around protein water. It is useful, it is effective, it is not gimmicky, because I kind of thought it might be, but it turns out that there's purpose for it. So again, hopefully can you can you can visualize and then put it into play in your day-to-day operation. So I like it again alongside a meal or before I work out. I don't sip it like I would a sparkling water. It's not, I
Yeah,
don't put that
yeah,
in the same category. It's like a
yeah,
can, but it doesn't, don't
yeah,
let it function that way. And
yeah,
then the other thing that just, I don't think people can literally get enough of, and that's this wonderful topic of creatine. And I think
yeah.
specifically speaking about, when we might have, when is creatine the best, you know, when is it best to have it? And then we can kind of talk. Well, let's talk about that first.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's no real best time
Yeah.
for creatine. It's sort of when you
Okay.
can put it in as a habit is probably beneficial, albeit when I spoke to the expert on the topic, he tends to have his after he works out with some protein. So, not that he said that you needed to do that or I needed to do that, but that's when he had it. So I'm like,
You
well,
talked to a
buddy,
creatine expert. I love this.
yeah, Darren Kando, he's done almost
So
all the
awesome.
research. I know.
This is amazing. So you literally have talked to the freaking creatine expert, and the creatine expert has it after he trains,
Yeah.
after he works out,
Yeah, with some protein.
but in like a smoothie. So he'll put the
Mm.
protein, the almond milk, a handful of berries, and the creatine into his smoothie.
Or he'll have it with yogurt.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I
but
can't
he but
remember
he but he
which.
has it with protein, not by itself.
Yeah, yeah, and his yogurt is high protein yogurt. So he was
Sure.
sort of, he mentioned the protein element. I just can't, and I, for in my head I'm like, I think it was yogurt, but I can't remember. Um and and so it's sort of any time that you want it. Oh, sorry, anytime you can have it at any time, but that's when he has it. Um and the type of creatine also comes up and the dose comes up, and Am I going to gain weight when it comes up? And these are all really valid questions because some people absolutely have there's a water retention effect. Like they will 100% their weight will spike because they're retaining more water. And then if they come off creatine after a couple of weeks, it will bottom out to baseline. So, but it isn't a fat gain. And I think this is where people have to sort of shift how they feel about the scales, particularly if they're noticing that they're getting improvements in the gym and their mood is better, they're cognitively functioning better, which, to be fair, on a dose of 3 to 5 grams, you may not notice, but on a higher dose, you would. But if you're like your only concern is that the scale is going up, you don't feel uncomfortable, then do not worry about it. Some people, though, do retain water not only in their sort of extracellular, but also in their intracellular compartments, which is sort of where it should be, but cankles, get water, you sort of feel puffy. And
Mm-hmm.
creatine can do that for some people. And so that if that is you and it doesn't resolve after a couple of weeks, then might want to lower the dose. Or maybe it's just not the supplement for you. And that's okay because it is a small piece of the big pie that makes up healthy living.
Mm. Did the creatine expert that you spoke to, Darren, you said, did he um, say specifically the he basically didn't say that there was one optimal time or way to take it. It was kind of whenever you could make it the habit for you.
Yeah.
And then did he say like how often? I mean, obviously you just touched on it, but did he say how often people tend to retain water on it? Like is it fairly common that will occur, or is it like 40% or 30? Like what percentages of clients and people that are on it would you say would have that
If
potential
I'm
effect?
if I'm remembering, I think it was
Mm-hmm.
maybe 50% of people, but it was transient. For most
Mm.
people, it was transient. It was only in that first couple of weeks. Like I take it, I didn't notice a change.
What are the like main benefits of taking it?
Strength and power, recovery, all gym related, and also sport related too, like
Mm-hmm.
soccer, basketball, we were talking about before, baseball, rugby. Endurance sports, there is a use case for creatine as well, but you do need to be mindful of the potential for the weight gain. So you might want to use it in training, then taper off it for an event. But then also you've got the cognitive benefits, like even 5 grams of creatine along with along with an SSRI can help augment or help enhance the activity of that medication.
Hmm.
Traumatic brain injury is another one. So taking at higher doses, 0.3 grams per kg body weight. And just a positive mood is another reason to take it. May also help with sleep. So there's so many there really is so many benefits to it.
Hmm. Hmm. It's a lot of benefits. I think but it does seem like it's a kind of a surge of either people. It's always been there, but I do feel like more and more people are at least talking to me about it and asking
Oh,
me, well, which one should I
definitely.
take? And like, I need. It's almost like I have to start this now. I've been told that I like need to get on creatine. I need to get on creatine. So it's like it went from like I don't know what the heck that is to like sort of a must take supplement. So it sounds like it has a lot of positive side effects. I have not personally started it yet. I plan to, and I plan to start with a small. I plan to kind of dose it.
Yeah, like 3 grams is great.
Mm-hmm.
Creatine monohydrate, a micronized one may be better may be easier to sort of mix in water and digest. And most of them actually that you find are going to be creatine monohydrate, and
Okay,
many of them are micronized as well. You asked me about Promix as a brand, and that's
I
got
did.
micronized creatine monohydrate.
Okay.
And then there is another type called creatine hydrochloride, which for some people may be better tolerated. There's not a lot of studies, but that's just anecdotally, that's what people say. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. And I wouldn't buy into the idea that there's a particular creatine for women. That's
You would.
just marketing speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, Darren said, put it in anything you freaking want. I think I might put it in coffee. There's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with that, right?
No.
Stick it in there with my collagen peptide.
Yeah.
collagen peptide, and then a little creatine in that moment in time. But
And the
unlike
3
the
other things that
protein
you put
water
in.
and the 3 other things I'm doing, I do a little half and half.
Yeah.
But unlike protein water, it doesn't have like where you don't want to just kind of like have it, just as sparkling in the middle of the day for kind of a random reason. Creatine could be that. If you find that
Yeah.
at 3 o'clock every day, putting, creatine in water is just going to work for you, that doesn't matter. Basically, it's whatever is going to be the easiest way to consistently take it is when you want to take
Yeah.
creatine.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Well, I think that's super interesting because
Yeah.
I know everybody's interested in it. Hopefully on our show notes, we can include, um, I know Momentous is one and Promix is another. And if there is perhaps 2 more so that you have 4 really viable, high quality creatine options. And if you're like me, who's a little new to the table, and quite frankly, I have been reluctant slightly, not because I don't understand now and continue to understand the benefits of it, which are actually a lot more vast than I had even attended. I thought it was mostly for muscle gain, like to keep it all the things to keep the muscle in our body, because that's hard to do. But I actually thought that one of the more important pieces was that I didn't realize that it's so powerful cognitively and mood stabilizing. And I think that's really important. I have been a little bit trepidatious about doing it because water retention just feels uncomfortable to me. So I'm not tied to the scale, but I am tied to the feeling. So
Yeah, and it's not a given that it'll happen. And the only way to know if it does is to try it.
fair.
And then if it does and it happens beyond 2 to 3 weeks, just come off. No big deal. Didn't work out.
That's it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
here we are, Adventures of Jess and Mix.
And what I would say, Pillar Performance is another excellent brand. It's
Okay.
the one, and I love it. And Balance here in Musashi, here in New Zealand and Australia, they are also 2 very good. And I believe both micronized. All 3 of them are
Okay.
micronized.
And the
yeah.
micronized is important because why?
It might be easier to digest and absorb.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
amazing.
that's perfect. So good.
Yeah.
So we have set the record straight on 2 very important things: clear protein water,
Yeah.
or just protein water in general, and
Yeah.
creatine. This is
Amazing.
good. This is good because these come
I
up
know.
all the time.
I know. And
And
we'll
I
be
want
able
you
to
guys
direct
to
people
be
to it.
like there. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also I always like things that I can like purchase from the store. They don't need to
Yeah.
be like prescribed. It's not, it's no harm, no foul. If it doesn't work, you just take yourself off of it.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
reasonable.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I think I had a post the other week,
Mm-hmm.
At any moment in time you can change your mind. It's okay,
Yeah, I loved that. I think I tried to like heart it a million times. That was me. I was like, heart. I always wonder when you're on like your friend's social media accounts and you're like, I wonder how many times I saw the fact that I loved this thing. And I was like, I hope they saw all of it, all the hearts. What are you grateful for today?
The sun is shining, Jess, and it's really nice because we've had a spate of very heavy rain that's really just chucked it down, like literally chucked it down. So it's
And
nice
does
to
that
see the
affect your
sun.
mood? Are you a mood person that gets affected by the rain? Or are you okay?
Sometimes I am, and right now I'm not, but sometimes I am. Yeah, yeah. How about
What
you?
really like hits you? What is like really difficult? What changes your mood pretty quickly?
Wind.
Wind.
Mm,
That's interesting.
yeah.
Why? It just does.
Well, it just messes with my constitution. It's like pushing me in places
Mm.
I don't want to go. My hair is all over the place. I just have to
Mm.
constantly move to like make myself comfortable, and I hate it actually. And then to walk in the wind is challenging. So yeah, not a fan.
To run in the wind is challenging, but yes,
Yeah.
That's what's called the baseball cap mix.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what you
yeah.
wear on the windy days so that your hair doesn't look like Ally McBeal.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Sorry, I may never forget that, but I just can't.
yeah.
I love it so much.
Oh,
Okay, well those are good things to be grateful
yeah.
for.
Yeah, and what are you grateful for, Jess?
Always you and Strength Renewed, our podcast, and doing this together are us. And I am grateful. I'm also grateful when we can set the record straight for things, because I think there's so much information out there and about all of it. And it's just nice to sometimes less is more, right? Just
Yeah.
take the information. You just need a little bit. You don't need to overwhelm yourself with too much. So I love the idea when, like, even tonight, it's like, okay, great. Like, I have a better idea of how I'm going to drink my protein water. That almost feels
Amazing.
calming to me when I have a little plan in place for
Yeah.
things like that, or even a little creatine plan. It's calming to me. It's soothing. So I think the idea of having little mini action steps that I can do repeatedly assures that I will make these changes in my life and I will create the habit. And I think that's
Nice.
powerful.
Yeah, I agree.
Grateful for that.
Nice one, Jess. All right. Sleep well.
You too, my dear.